Okay, hello and welcome everybody to the UK Skype. Hello, Duane and Ava and all the new friends on board. I'm here with Gwen and Peter, my ever-suffering parents. And hello, Pierce. And okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to start today. So I got a collection of notes all over the place, and if I don't say it, I'm going to lose track of where I was. Oh, right then. Okay. There is a phenomenon where individuals seem to have a memory of alternative timelines. The best example of this being how many people seem to have the memory of Nelson Mandela being executed as opposed to imprisoned, hence the coining of the phenomena and the name given, the Mandela effect. I was reading in Nubook 7 how Duane was going back in time with the objective to change the influence of certain key individuals that had a strong effect on the human species and their unfolding story. Had Duane gone back in time, altered the past successfully, and thus changed the present to a more favourable result, then at the time of writing Nubook 7, there would have been no need to therefore undertake this mission, as the outcome Duane sought to achieve would now be in effect. So by the very fact the escapade is written about suggests the mission was unsuccessful, or Duane would have had no need to decide upon the time-altering mission and write about it, as there would have been no need to do so. Or maybe the mission caused a separate alternative timeline to emerge in which, in one, Duane had success and in the other not, and thus a completely different world forged in each. Maybe then certain people have a memory of a different world as a result of this alternative timeline, and so we can possibly say that Duane has perhaps created his own Mandela effects through his adventures. And if so, is this with a degree of risk involved? Might Duane inadvertently create paradoxical time loops, where that, at a certain point in the timeline, Duane must remember to go to these pivotal points in time to make these alterations, or that which he had effected may not come to pass, so possibly putting himself in a place where he must have to constantly make these trips, at least until, say, creation is no more. Can the new man and the guide see every possible outcome and so ensure no risks are involved? What if Duane made an alteration in time and the consciousness of humanity was actually made worse? Maybe situations that are so dire are the catalyst for a species wanting to break free of the shackles of creation, and a world made better puts them in a more apathetic la-la land state. Then there might never have been an opportunity for the new presentation, and maybe even the new man would not even be here. Maybe he'll be in the real universes instead. With these alternative realities, is Duane or the guides able to pop into these and glean insights? If the new books are so written as a result of Duane's adventures and undertakings, then this suggests different alternative realities have different new books, and perhaps different versions of Duane have different viewpoints or experiences that could be of use to the Duane that we know here. That's it for the first part of it, anyway.
Oh, that's just part one?
I fear so.
Okay, you fear so. Actually, Val should be listening to this. Val, Pierce would be a great guest on your show. Val has a new show too, The Creative Literal Sides.
Yes. You mean Kevin? Kevin would be great. Yes.
I thought this was Pierce talking.
Kevin.
Oh, it's Kevin. Okay.
That's in an alternative reality, but this is Kevin.
Oh, okay. Yes, we are somewhere else, aren't we? Yes. You have fun. You have fun making these things up. Yes, you have to be on Val's new show because this is what it's about, the creative, literal side of things. So there's many people interested in this, and a step at a time. But yes, like anything. It's interesting what we do and what we decide to do and what comes about where we have the opportunity to do something. So we've all done this. We've all been engaged in things like this. It's very, very interesting. And it also gets very complex, just like your observation there, etc. It's kind of fun. But at the same time, it all comes into the nowness, what life is. And so all of us are all over the place. We just gradually wake up to this. We become more aware and recognize how we are all part of life itself, and each part of us does what it does. So, and again, wherever we're at, we decide that moment, just like right now, we're all here and we're deciding. And so, yes, let's say the new presentation, etc., what has taken place. And just like when Paul came, it was decided here. And this is one place in all of life. It's very interesting, and there are endless places, and this is where we are at this time. But yeah, and every moment it's decided, and we see the outcome of those decisions, don't we? It's quite amazing. So realistically, what is an answer for all of this? It's just every moment we make a choice. And that's what we do. And things become what they do according to how we see them. And the world itself, we can present whatever we do to the world like we're doing right now. And the world decides. And the world is still deciding to get worse. And so whatever's implemented, whatever's suggested, etc., each person makes a choice. So it's a big deal. To most people it isn't because they're not aware enough to see it. So as we're presenting this, it's at least something. So without us here, it would really be a lot worse. So you really can't too much interfere with the free will of others. They're going to do what they're going to do, and this is where it's become hostile on the planet. We've seen history. It's basically all hostile. It's hostile today. It's a hostile environment. It seems, excuse me, it seems to be okay, but it's hostile environment and nothing but confrontations that are not necessary, but still people are continually doing them. Just everybody that gets up and drives their car out there, it's a confrontation. They're deciding to pollute the planet, and people want to do better, but they don't have the opportunity because they're shut down. So to answer your question, young man, that's a quagmire, but you kind of get the basic idea there. So it's really stepping up and doing something realistically, which we're doing, which is part of the adventure. And then we just see how it comes out, because people that are here, they make choices as we are. And so, yeah, we'll see how this adventure comes out. And yes, on the real side, there's many more books that are written, etc. I remember when we had the Iranian Skypes, Sam was bringing forward some of the people that saw the bigger books that I was writing on the real side. And he was saying that one sentence took a month to read, etc. So there's always something else. So we go through these literal steps until we start to see the reality of what life is. But we go through those literal steps, and they're huge. So yes, that's a very interesting question. And yes, you have to be on Val's show. Yes, Val.
Okay, yes, thank you for that. Yeah, part 2 was actually more an observation really than a question, but I was just pondering that the explanation for how certain people have access to memory of alternative timelines must be due to their awareness. The memory body, the physical vehicle, is like, my favourite analogy, the DVD player recorder, but with one DVD at a time, an individual's life and all experienced in it. If an alternative was made, and then it's as though the DVD was exchanged for another. Now the individual has only access to this new DVD, a remastered version, and the old DVD no longer available and no memory of it. But real awareness, beyond the mental body, would allow an individual to perceive beyond the limitations of the DVD player with whatever DVD it is restricted to, and so, in effect, be able to see an entire DVD collection and have access to them all. And I was imagining that the controllers are most likely to popping in and out of timelines as well and dabbling in time travel, but with far less awareness of the potential dangers their alterations may cause. Naturally, they will be doing what they do for their own devious ends. Could they conceivably, perhaps, though, go back in time and cause a chain of events to sabotage the new presentation? Let me turn my page. And I was thinking then maybe that's why you possibly were unsuccessful in your missions in Nubook 7, because perhaps as soon as you achieved a goal, maybe they went back and changed it back again. And I was thinking such activities could go on forever. Everybody going back and re-correcting what the other had corrected and so forth and so on.
It can be like that. Yeah, it's like a football game, you know, soccer or football. You guys call it football, soccer over there. We call football here, but it's the same thing, offense, defense, and it's back and forth. And sometimes you don't get very far, but the boys don't stop. And eventually it comes to the point where, yes, just like on the planet here, people get old and tired, and then they go to the real side, and basically they're trapped there, or they go into an astral prison, or they don't know where they're at, so it becomes a difference. Now, the reptilians are a little different because they live for thousands of years, so, and they shapeshift, so, you know, they've paid attention to that, where us as people here, as humans or whatever species, you know, we live very short lives, and so, you know, when we go to the real side, mainly because of how civilization has been indoctrinated here socially, people take those same attitudes with them, and this is where many times they don't know where they're at on the real side, etc. So yes, it can do that, and it does that at times. I've tried to get certain things done here and been blocked many times. It gets close. It's an almost thing, and many times being blocked. So there's always a bigger adventure. I've seen it on the real side where the boys will start something else. They'll start constructing something else because the old stuff didn't quite go or work. And you see it with Paul's, where he presented what he did, and today it's totally the reverse, totally taken over, and the reptilians have all of it. This is just how it is here. So yes, it's like a picnic. You have some sandwiches and food, and you put it down, and you go throw the frisbee around. But in the meantime, the ants come out and start hauling it away, don't they? So yes, we have a few moments to pay attention here, and really that's it, because it goes very fast, and especially now with what's going on in the world, with everything that's being amped up and etc. So we only have a few moments, because it can get chaos, and with all the strikes and the demonstrations and what's happening in the world, and they're instigating a lot of this too to confuse people, plus everything else, you know, with the chemtrails and the HARP and what have you. So yeah, how long do we have here? to do something so that you have the awareness. So when that moment comes that you are okay, step into the other side, and at least you can be with the real guides. You can recognize them. That becomes the difference. It is that recognition. So, yeah, we're into everything here, and the elites, they do the time travel thing and what have you. And realistically, they don't have to. They can go, like the Montauk Project. They can go right into the individual themselves, because everybody has their own time track, and they can pick and choose things accordingly, with how they frame people's minds, hypnotize them, brainwash them, do all these things. So, yeah, it's a real challenge here, isn't it, with what we have? And we're bombarded by microwaves and subliminals constantly. And, yeah, so... Okay, so you've brought some things up, and I would say you're scaring your parents there, Kevin. Yeah.
Yes, my parents are definitely looking a bit unnerved. Yes, I was really enjoying Nubook 7. I liked all that time travel escapades. That was really cool stuff. Okay, I'll share a couple of dreams, and then I'll pass on the mic. Okay, this was a couple of dreams I had last week. In this first dream, I was approached by a pair of dubious individuals, and they offered me an alternative job, as I was pretty cheesed off with my current job, as I am on physical. So out of curiosity, I went with them. Then it suddenly occurred to me that I wonder if these are controllers trying to buy me off or something. Or maybe even the guides testing me. It would, in fact, I think, turn out to be the former, as they suddenly revealed themselves to be vampires, and they demanded to drink my blood in exchange for a position they would offer. I refused them at this point, and then they all attacked me. There was a whole bunch of them. However, I suddenly started zapping them with blue fire that I shot out of my hands and my eyes, which was quite cool. It was like something out of the X-Files. So I was sort of wondering at the end of that, when I woke up from that dream, if blue fire was of any significance, and maybe this is a standard defense ability of a new student.
Well, we all have our skills, and so if you were Steven Seagal, you'd grab their thumb and twist them around, wouldn't you? So there's different ways to do it. Yes, the offers are always made like that, and I met one gal that she was very consciously offered that. They will give you anything because they don't care. The system's created out of nothing. You see the people that are bought off, especially, they're more than obvious, like Trump. It's Bill Gates, and just go on, George Soros, etc., and Buffett's, and all these people. They're all bought off. That's why they're doing so well, and they manipulate the masses, and people listen to them, etc., because they're also threatened. You see, the thing is that first what they'll do is they'll make the offer, and it's very real. Because they see what you're doing with us here. And they come to everybody. Everybody will have experiences like this, and they won't stop. Harry and Joni do this stuff all the time, so they pester people and whatever because they want people to comply. And just like there's an old movie from the 50s, it's called the original one, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And so as these pods came down and the duplicates came out, where they landed with people, the people, as soon as they went to sleep, they were unconscious, and the new ones came out. It was the New Order. It's a fun little film to see. Came out in the 50s. It was the original one. And so, yes, yeah, this is very common. And if they can't get you because they want certain people, then they will threaten you, or they'll destroy you. It's like they don't need you, etc. So, yeah, very real confrontation, because this is really what this world is, and they start there, and you'll get sometimes subtle ones here or direct ones here, etc. So, they watch the human farming. They watch the people in the prison yard here. And those that become successful or whatever, because they like the risk takers. They look for the risk takers. They don't want the for the most part, most people are sheep. So those are the ones that are eaten. Okay, those are the ones that are herded and eaten, kidnapped, whatever. Eventually, they're just there if they need them. But they look for exceptional ones because it really takes a lot to get a person to become, you might say, evil. Just like Obama and all that. They trained him since he was a young boy, and for him to do what he did and to buy him off, etc. And they go after the young people because they're a little bit more persuasive. That's why Hitler had the German youth. Those Germans, those youth were turning in their parents, etc. because they were easily swayed. Because kids like the adventure. To them, it's just an adventure. But then as they grow up and become more aware, it becomes very real. And it's kind of like the original X-Men movie. The kids start off young, and all the experiments done on them, like Wolverine and things like that, etc. These things are, in their own way, very real. They're happening all over the place constantly, and they have underground things, etc. So, yeah, you're experiencing what's going on, and this is where, most of the world doesn't want to wake up to this. And a surprise, it only gets worse, so they have to deal with it, but you're consciously seeing it, and you do have protection there, so you have your own, and the boys are there. The boys watch their own. Those who are doing the new you and paying attention here, they're there. You may not see them because they're in back of you, okay, but they are there. I've had many people come up to me on the real side with guns and threaten me and etc., and all of a sudden they just drop their guns because the boys are in back of me. They see them and they won't do anything. And so the reptilians will pick on those people. These are the original vampires. They will pick on those people that are the most vulnerable. They see your vulnerable spots. We all have something. And they see this, just like you see other people or other people and you see how they are. They continually watch others. This is all they do. That's why we have cameras all over the place, face recognition on Facebook and everything else, because they're constantly watching. This is all they do, is want to possess others. And so they will get in any which way they can. So, yeah, you, very real, young man, and when you tell people that, it becomes a little scary. They don't want to hear it, but most people are very tap-lined and agreeable, so they're fine. So while they're tap-lined and agreeable to the system, well, the system really doesn't bother them because they've already got them. You see, you're one that's waking up. You're seeing what's going on. So to them, you're a bad influence, okay? You're influencing others, and so they don't like that. So, the first offer is to buy you off, but there you go. So let's see what else happens.
Okay, yes, I mean, who'd want to work for vampires anyway? Sounds like a dead-end job to me.
Oh, Terry.
Okay, anyway, yes.